Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start. Let me share the screen. Record. So all of you are able to see my screen, right? Yeah. So let me start. Okay. So we started with the PLSQL. Quickly we can refresh and then we can get into the details. Let me minimize it. So we started with what? The PLSQL. So what is PLSQL? We try to understand. It is a programming language for SQL. So these are the some of the benefits we discussed. Okay, and we have already discussed about that. Logically speaking, when you look at it to the PLSQL, the one side we write the procedure, and within that procedure we used to call the SQL statement, right? And this is how it will be executed on the database server. So in your code, procedures also will be there, SQL also will be there. Using that, we can able to execute it. Now, if you look at this PLSQL block, okay, there will be a this type of structure. You can see that declaration of a variable, cursor, user-defined exceptions. At this moment, probably you may not understand what is cursor, but we'll come back to that. And also we have in the begin, then we can write normal SQL statement or like a control statement. Using control statement, we can write the PLSQL statement. And if I want to use any exception handling, raise the exception, we can do that. So this is the normal PLSQL block structure. And we started with working with like a PLSQL, right? So in the last session, we tried to understand with example, I think the stored procedure. So what is stored procedure? A procedure which is nothing but a pre-compiled block of statement. What is pre-compiled block of statement? The program, if you write it, it will be the compiled and just you have to pass the parameter and you have to interpret. So that is how the PLSQL is currently working actually. Now in this case, okay, in the last session, I think we try to understand quickly. So just we created a one sample table. Let me do this quickly. Let me create database. Okay, UPLDB, something like that. Then let me create a database. Okay, then try to insert a record. So it is a normal program we are doing. Okay, refresh it. So we have created the database. Then, sorry, we have not created a table. Table we have to create. So let me create first table. Okay, so there is a data definition table. So I think we have not UPLDB. So we have to first use it. So it is selected here. Now we execute the students, then insert a record. So we have done this. Now, if you look at this, if I want to write the procedure in the last discussion we have done that. Okay, like a create procedure name. We have discussed that in parameter, input parameter, and output parameter. So if you want to say that, okay, we want to create a procedure to fetch the details based on the department. Okay, so whether the student is belongs to computer science or mechanical or electronics, we can write nested queries to do that. But I wanted to write a like a program so that previous to the future I can use it. So as I said in the last session, the how to create a procedure we have already discussed. So there should be a delimiter in MySQL. Okay, and this is the end delimiter $. It is indicating that it is the end of code. Okay, it is the beginning of the procedure. So how do you do that? Create procedure. This is in MySQL. In Oracle, if you go replace also you can use it or replace or something like that. But normally this is a standard step, create procedure and the procedure name. So this is a function name, I can say that. So what is the input? We already discussed in means last session. The department name we are passing, then begin and end. So here I am writing the query. What is the query you are writing? So select a star from like this query where department name may be computer science. Okay, this is the query. So there are two. So same thing, I am generalizing it here. So now if I wanted to do mechanical, I have to replace here mechanical as an input parameter and I have to execute. So if I want to generalize this, so then I have to write the procedure. Let me refresh this. I will go here. There is a student table has been created. Now I am creating the stored procedure. Once you execute a stored procedure, you can see that. So there is a stored procedure, get students by this one. This is a pre-compiled statement. That means it is compiled, like it is ready to use. That is why this is called stored procedures are business logic. Now we write in Java, C#, this type of functions. But earlier days and all, we used to write in the backend only. But when you are as a data analyst, if I wanted to use, okay, majority of time we write the procedures, the procedures to perform the operations. Okay, so as of now, just at this moment, remember the procedure what we are writing in the SQL. There is a support in PLSQL. Instead of writing a business logic through Java, Python, or .NET, we can write through PLSQL by writing here and keep this ready and so that we can reduce the time to execute, and that's why procedures will be used. Chandralekha, I think you have some question.
Yes, sir. So whenever we are creating any stored procedure, so see, we have just now created one DB, right? UPLDB. So whenever we are creating any DB, so the other parameters like table, view, stored procedures, and functions are get automatically created.
No. So this is the placeholders.
Yeah, placeholders only I am asking. Means
Yeah, that is automatically they are created. But whether you and they are modularizing. That's it.
okay, and it is in MySQL or in any
This is
database?
MySQL. Everywhere you'll be having this type of structure.
Okay. No, means asking like this structure will be created in MySQL only or in other
This
DBs
is
also.
MySQL. Other DBs also, they will keep modular. You can create a, in Oracle, if you go, you create a, the package, those type of concepts are there. But
Oh,
ideally, they will keep separately.
okay, okay. Yeah, got
This
it.
is a user interface. If this user interface is not there, workbench is not there, you have to execute the query to see that actually. Show procedure, show SQL, something like that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, but basically all the programs will provide the skeleton or structure. Since this is a, since normally people are writing, so that's why it is showing this actually. Whenever you create a DB, but will not click, just will see only tables. Okay. So this is how we created a procedure now. Now, if I want to call, so this can be called through Java, Python, Perl, any programming language. Just we have to execute now in your code. So just I have executed, for example, in report also, if you want, you can use it. But what you have to do is you have to call this and pass the argument. So that means this is the input parameter that we have discussed in the last session. So quickly, I'm summarizing this. Similarly, if I want to drop, I can drop the procedure. Okay, if I'm not interested, I can drop this act. So I'm dropping the procedure. So this is how we have understood. Similarly, we have understood what is input parameter. Last session, we also discussed about out parameter. What is out parameter? I want to return. Okay, functions means it will return a value. If you go to the Python, it will returns more than one value. If possible, if are two value, you can display. They'll do that. But when you talk about a procedure is a just like a work. Okay. For example, if you want to travel from Mysore to Bangalore, okay. If you travel there and that's all, that's the journey. That is called procedure. But if something to be written from the procedure, then explicitly you have to make that. Here, get the total number of your students, uh, like a get a total number of students in a specific department. So this is the like a specific department. So I need to get the total number of students for a particular computer science department. How many people are there? Students are there. Mechanical, how many students are there? So we are talking about PLS means business logic only. So now if I want to do that, so input, I have input department number. If I want to store output variable, I can do this. So this is we have seen quickly in the last session, last discussion. So just I am creating this. So same as I said, we need to write the delimiter, create procedure name, input parameter last time we have taken department number. Along with that, we are keeping the total count what we wanted to send it back. Okay, and it will be placed in the global output variable concept. So now if I execute, it is not a return statement. It is the student count is a temporary variable, and this is putting into this variable. This is the normal the like for example, I can say that normal query similar to this. Okay. Let me copy this. Okay. So now this is the variable. It is declaring the looking for the variable. So normally in views and all these things, we do like this. That means we are taking the data, count star means like whichever the employee number, department, student number, and we are pass on to this, okay, and from students. So that means if I want to store, it is telling that, okay, undeclared variable. So this is treated like a variable because here we have declared this. So if you want to store temporarily, it is doing what? It is passing here and storing here. Okay. And what is the variable name? Student count. So if I try to write this as a procedure, okay, procedure, what happened? Already exists. Right? So let me go here. Students count is there. Now, once this is done, now if I want to execute, okay. So what is the input variable? Mechanical and count. So you have to store this value. okay, count, okay, and that is what we are storing. Now the count is, we got it. Now this variable stored in whatever the response, the student count is stored in this count variable as a parameter. Now if I want to see that output, I can see that. So there are two, okay. So this is how usually normally in PLSQL people are used to do that, okay. So creating a procedure input variable, this is a procedure and this is the output procedure. So, and this is how normally we used to do that. But the recent trend, what happened when we started developing web application in Java or .NET, it is very difficult to debug in database level. So that's why we stopped writing the procedures. But only currently people are writing procedures in the situation where the performance is the challenge, okay, and because of too many layers. In that situation, they straight away go and write it actually procedure and try to execute, not for all business logic, just only for the mandatory part. And now because of now data analyst and data analysis people are there, and they need some report and analysis these things, okay. For them also, this is helping actually. So that's why we are learning the PLSQL here. So we have understood, okay, what is the input parameter and output parameter. This is what we have discussed. Similarly, same variable will be used for input and output variable. So that is what we have done. So in the last session. So the same thing quickly, if you see that this is the in-out variable, marks and int. So this is the input for the student. This one marks. For example, you go to the situation for the valuation. They will say that okay, those who are there may be one question which is out of syllabus. In that situation, they can say that please give the grace for all the people plus 5 marks. So that is the then same marks is updated into the plus 5. In that was the case, okay. So that is how the like a new marks will be updated. So and this is what in the last this discussion also I have shown. The last session also I have shown. So from this, what we have learned is how to write the input variable, how to write the output variable, what is the procedure, and how to create a procedure and how to use the procedure. So this is how we have done. Now let us understand in the procedure how to declare the local variables. So this is, we have declared input variable, we have declared output variable. Also in the previous session, we have discussed about same variable we can use for input also, output also, that we have seen. Now, in a procedure, how to use the local variable. I'm not getting into like what is variable. It is a memory location to hold a value. So I believe that, okay, either you know one Python or a C programming or a JavaScript where you have been already explained what is variable. So we are not getting into that. And also I believe that, okay, you people know what is global variable, what is local variable. Here, fairly, I am talking about, okay, like I understand people know that what is variable. It is memory location to hold a value. And any function, when you write it, we used to use the local declaration, that is a variable. So assuming that, okay, you know all those things. With that note, in that context, I am doing it. If I write a PLSQL program, how to declare a local variable? So what is the scenario I have taken? Calculate the average marks of students in a department. This is the use case, average marks of students. Now, if I want to do that, create procedure, get average marks, okay, for any student, which department, and what is the average marks, that is I am responding here. So to compute this, okay, I may for my logic, I may declare the local variables, the total marks, okay, total students, okay, declare total marks of type integer, declare total students of integer. So what we are doing, select sum is I think we have discussed in the SQL, that is an aggregated function, okay. Sum, we pass the marks, okay, marks into a total marks for this local variable from students, okay, and where department is equal to department num. Similarly, the total number of students we are doing that because to compute average, I need the department wise, department wise, assume that I need a marks, okay, sum of marks, and also how many students they are, okay. So, and if total students is greater than 0, average marks is equal to, simply we are doing. So here you can understand how to use the if condition also. If condition, okay, then else, okay, and here set the variable, okay, set the variable, set the average marks, end if, and we are ending this. So this is how quickly we are creating the simple procedure. So we are already having a students, okay. So describe students table, okay. Let me go here. So I have a students. Similarly, let me see the records. Okay, computer science student having marks 85, 90. Similarly, mechanical student 78, 80, and electronics is 80. So department wise, I want to compute total marks. It means that 85 plus 90 divided by number of students is 2. So what is the average value? So, and then that is the average marks I wanted to send it back. So let me take this procedure. Okay. Okay. So now this is as usual. Let us create procedure name, the department name you are passing, okay, and what you want is department wise average marks. How are you declaring? So first you are computing total marks, temporary variable, that's local to this block, total students, and I am computing using aggregated function. I am computing the total marks per department, total number of students per department. Then I am setting if total students greater than 0, computing the average marks and set the average value. So set the marks. If there is a lesser than 0, I am making it as a 0 because that department itself is not there. So let me execute this. So we have executed the procedure. So we got it. Procedure is already there. Now just I have to pass the input and get the call. So I'm executing the procedure. Now procedure will be executed. Which department? Electronics. And if you want to execute, you can execute. So then if I wanted to do this, select this one, average. So electronics department, okay. So it has executed. Only one person is there because of that. Okay. If there is a computer science, so computer science is mechanical if you want. And execute this. Then if you go here, average you will get it. Okay. So likewise, we can write the process. What is the objective here? So from this method, I understood how to write the procedure. I already know what is the how to give the input parameter, how to write the output parameter, but along with that, I can write the declaration, local variable, integer, float, variables I can declare. I can make use in my study. Also, I have understood a control statements like if condition greater than 0, then and else, and how to set the variable values we have understood. So this is how with this program I can able to understand how to write if then else we have understood, and also we have understood like how to invoke this and also how to execute this. So like this we can do the lot of functionalities. So this is how we can use the scenario of local. I am just exploring saying that okay, all kind of the usages, especially in PLSQL, and how are we used to write earlier days. Maybe so extensively we used to use when especially .NET people used to use a lot of procedures more than Java people. So because in SQL Server they used to write it, but it is not a rocket science. And also the people who are working in the ABAP, okay, in earlier days, okay, it is just like a SQL kind of structure only. It is not very different from that, okay. So all these people, they used to write the business logic like this way. Because of that, the executions of the fast speed will be more actually. So like this we have understood. So that means we have understood how to create a procedure. Okay. And also we have understood how to use if then else. So, and also if I want to declare a variable, declare employee ID int, decimal, you can use a decimal float point, like you can use that. Declare salary decimal 10 comma 2. So this is how you can use it. If I want to declare a character employee underscore name, varchar 50, we can use it. If I want to declare hire date, you can use it. If you want to declare order date time, if you wanted to use, you can use it. Similarly, if I want to use only one bit, you can use like a built-in MySQL. We don't have Boolean. Instead of that, you can use a tiny int. Okay, tiny int with one is active true, or 0 or 1 flag, you can use it. So like this, there are the different types of variables. So variables we have. So similarly, enumerations, if you wanted to use declare gender, male, female, or others like that, you can use it. If I want to set the permissions, like a set, read, write, delete, you can use this type of values to be set. And finally, there is a concept of cursor. Okay, we'll come to that. Instead of just declaring a one simple variable, and cursor is also one variable. But instead of setting the three values, two values, I want to temporarily one table, employee ID, employee name from employee. It may be 100 records are there. Entire 100 records I want to keep in a one the cache variable that is called cursor. Okay, cursor is just like a keeping the result set in the one variable. So we are using when we really want to use, update, modify, and all those things. So this is an example to use this. And how do you do that? Declare employee underscore cursor. There is a cursor name. Okay, cursor, it is a predefined like set to enum. Okay, this is how do you declare data type int to float to double. But after that, what is the query you are writing for and to get the values. So this is also we can do that. Any questions here? All of you are able to follow?
Yes.
Okay. So it is not just you have to understand, that's it. Okay. If you have simple JavaScript programming language also, C programming also, it is not very different. So just you have to follow in sequence. PLSQL is very easy programming language. Just you should believe yourself. Okay, you can understand very well. But only thing is logically, if you look into it, we are able to do Java, .NET, Python kind of programming language. SQL is nothing. Just only thing is you should understand what are the the features which are available. If you are able to understand, if you map to the programming language, that will be useful, or you'll be able to understand very easily. So now similarly, if I want to create your own structure, okay, create type, address type. So as object, so this is how we can create. I have shown all the different. If I want to create a variable of a structure type, object type, okay, street, city, state, postal, that also we can use. Here declare employee address of type what? This is the type. Create address type as object. So this is also we can create it. So, but unfortunately, what was the problem? We are not using extensively. That's why we have totally forgotten. Okay, and but you should remember. So we can create customized user-defined type also. So these are the different types of variables we have. We have understood. When you say programming language, definitely there will be a tokens, there will be variables, there will be an identifiers. So there will be a data type. Everything should be there. Just you have to map yourself. Okay, what are the variables? So variables are memory location to hold a value. What are the different types of variables we can have, including data type? We have shown this. In the previous example, whatever I have shown, I have utilized the integer data type and I have shown as an example. Now, if you come to the control statement, okay, so we have used this actually, okay. If you look into that, like if condition then, okay, code to execute if condition. So this also we have used else end if. So if condition then else end if. So you have to follow this block of execution. Okay, condition is true, either it will be executed or it is not. I believe that what is the if conditions or else condition people know. Similarly, if I want to use a switch statement, okay, switch statement when you are using multiple if else, it is encouraged to use this actually case statement. Case when else last end case. So this is the like a case statement where you can use it. So when expression is equal to value 1, then you do this. Similar to when you used to do catch expression. Case, right? Even in Python, we don't have it. Usually we use the if else only. But when you go to a C, a switch case is there. Okay. Similar kind of that, if you wanted to do that, case when expression is equal to value 1, then this one when expression 2 is equal to then, and else the default code, the last otherwise is this actually. So this is how the common control statements can be seen in the MySQL actually. And similarly, we have while loop. Okay. When if you want to write a block of code repeatedly as long as specified condition is true, while condition do, then write the code here and end while. So that means we have understood what is if else condition control conditional construct. Then we have seen similar to a switch statement. We have we have a case statement. So we have seen case statement. And similarly, we have a looping construct. So we have the while loop also, while condition do, end while we have to write it. So similar to that, okay, we have a repeat statement, repeat loop statement, repeat also, repeat until when condition end loop. Similarly, for loop, okay, for variable as data type. So if I want to exit, that is called a leave label, okay. So we will be using this do end for. So we'll use it, then you will be able to understand this, okay. So that means we have repeat until condition end repeat. Okay. So this is the condition. And similarly, while loop is there. And similarly, for loop is there. And also we have case statement and if condition there. So this is what we have as a control statement. So for example, if you want to exit from the loop or something like that, if you want to do that, we system.exit or exit is not there. Instead of that, we have a leave label name. So like a go to statement. Okay. So we have go to statement. If I want to skip how do we as continue statement, similar to that, you can say that iterate statement. Okay. So likewise, we can, but to instead of that, we have in MySQL provides continue handler. Okay. So whenever the declare continue handler for condition value, and you can do that. When we wanted to give a signal, so raise an exception, okay, then we have a signal statement. So we'll see one by one, that's okay. But at this moment, just remember that, okay, since it is a programming language, we have different set of things. So finally, we have understood what is variable, what is conditional statement, how to use in PLSQL. We have understood what is case statement. We have understood while, repeat loop, and for loop. Okay, there are 3 things are there. And also we have understood similar to a break and continue, we have leave and iterate and continue handler, especially in MySQL. And if I want to raise some custom errors in SQL statement, exceptions, if I wanted to show, we have a signal statement. You remember signal statement. After understanding this, okay, people should remember what is stored procedure. Okay, so just to give some convenience, just I went ahead with programming, but let us understand now logically speaking what is stored procedure. What is a stored procedure? Stored procedure is a pre-compiled collection of one or more SQL statement. Okay, and that can be executed on demand. Whenever you want, you can execute. Okay, and this is it is used to encapsulate and manage the complex database operations, promote code reusability, enhance security, and improve the performance. So for this process, this one they are using. Majority of time currently people are using for the purpose of performance. If you don't want to expose the logic in the database side only, then if you keep the logic, that will enhance the security. And if I want to reusable, because it can be called from Java also, C# also, .NET also, the same procedure can be called, but only thing is you have to understand how to call the procedures through those programming languages. So that's why all the fundamental what we call it is a the RDBMS packages such as MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, all these people are supporting the stored procedures. So usually normally they will ask what is stored procedure. So please remember pre-compiled code, okay? And it can accept input, output, and in-out parameters that you have already seen. And it promotes the modularity because we are organizing the code. And it encapsulates, hides the implementation details for the caller. Caller may not be knowing that code, okay? And security has been enhanced, okay? And it also have a concept of commit and rollback to if any error accepts or rises, okay, you can roll back also. So these are all part of this one. So standard procedure is create procedure, input parameter, conditions, else, and like this we can able to do that. So what are the benefits? Improved performance, security, maintenance, consistency, reduced network traffic and transaction support. So for all these things, we people are using the procedures. So any questions with respect to procedures you people are having? Yeah.
Not it, sir.
What about others?
So are we getting these Word documents and the PPTs?
Yes, definitely. I will be sharing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For others? Nancy, Rihana, Ritik?
No, sir, no doubts.
Okay. So now let me
Sir,
move
can we
on.
call this like you told we can call the function like a function we can call the procedures, no?
Functions is also there. Functions is in the procedure you can call the functions like average, max, min. Those are all functions.
Okay.
Procedure is nothing but a logic, business logic.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. When you are writing for example, generation of a marks card, maybe a business logic. That we used to do now using the programming language Java or a .NET or a Python. But earlier days, how they used to write it? Majority of procedures they write it, right? And we used to write lengthy code of procedures. But only problem is maintenance is very costly because it is very difficult to debug. Okay, that's why people started using. But if you have a performance challenges, if you want to generate a report consolidating various databases or in one database, then obviously people are going for the procedures. Now let us, we have discussed about loops and all those things, right? And also I discussed about cursor and everything. So let me execute one or two programs so that you can have a awareness this. So like using loops in stored procedure. Print the student IDs from a specific department using loops. My objective is to to prove how to use the loops. In the previous year, I have shown the if conditions, how to use it. Local variables also we have understood. Now let me take this, okay, just anyhow. Okay, so just a print department wise, just I wanted to print the student, right? The roll number I am printing like that. If you think. So this is a default 0 done. This is a local variable. See here we have declared the cursor. What is cursor? I said cursor is just like a temporary cache table. Okay. If I wanted to build select student ID from students, which department? So I am keeping the student cursor and declare continue handler for not found, then set done is equal to 1. So everything is done. Okay. Then set the done is equal to 1, like a if true or false, something like that. Now, cursor, I have kept the record here and I executed the query based on this. I kept the record. This, I want to loop it just to print the message. So open the cursor. This will cursor. Last part I will discuss once again cursor. At this moment, try to understand the open the cursor. You have first you have to declare it. I have declared it. This is because this is also one type of variable. Once that is done, open the cursor. We have to do that before using. Then I have created a label like a go-to kind of structure we are creating. Loop label, loop. So fetch, these are the standard structure because we'll come to this one. Like a cursor, how to use it. Okay. Fetch, first record, cursor record, into a student ID. Okay, this is one column. If done, if everything is complete, leave, exit. Okay, else select the student ID. Okay, so like this, we are looping it and close the student cursor. So this is just to show you how to execute the procedures. So sorry, loop. So this is the main objective of this is just how to use the loop. So loop you can use it, loop, leave and leave this block of statement. So whichever end loop is there, it will be left. Now let me go here and call the computer science. So student ID is not there. Okay. So it is there, right? Yes, somewhere I made a mistake. Yeah, Chandrulekha.
Yes, sir. So instead of cursor, we are embedding into the stored procedure. Can we just see the cursor declaration in separately rather
No,
than
no,
it in the
cursor. We are going to discuss in the last part once again.
okay.
Okay. At this moment, my objective is just to show you how to use the looping. Okay. For the like a for loop, while loop, right? We discussed, right? That was the object. Okay. So there is nothing other than that. Okay. So here, somewhere we have missed the logic. Let me see. The student ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2 should come. Student ID, department. This here I missed the logic. Paste the student ID. Okay, cursor it is there. And then leave them. Else select student ID. Yes, student ID is there. So it has to print the student ID. And go. Exiting that. The right procedure. We have to write the exit criteria. Just so this has so because we have exit criteria is must leave the loop. So somehow this cursor has an issue.
Sir, does indentation matter here?
No, it doesn't matter actually so much. It is not like a Python. Any loop has closed before that, then it will be a problem. Open and close the cursor. I believe this cursor only not loaded. Student ID from students. Okay, student ID to the students table. Okay, so we'll see it. Okay, just I will see that when it comes to a cursor, definitely I will see that. Okay, so let us not waste. Let me go. So cursor we are going to discuss once again as the last part, but since we have to explain the procedure, I have explained it. Similarly, like if you want to use like some more example, you can take this example. You try to execute, create a table students, and we are inserting some sample, and here calculate the average grades, average grade of a student. Similarly, here also cursor we do it from the student ID, and handler when cursor reaches to the end. So then we are setting the value. Open the cursor and same thing. We are initializing the variable and we are computing this actually. So then how do you compute? And we are seeing the average. So let me execute this quickly. Let me drop this table first. So drop. So create a student ID, student name, and the average. So then I'm creating the grade table for the student. So just to show the use cases, now I am inserting average. I have not computed. Marks I have not computed. Insert student. Average grade is null here. So insert grades for the grade table. Okay. Done. Then we can create a procedure to compute the average grades A, B, C. If you want, you can do that. Let us create the average grade. Let me go here. So create calculate. So anyhow, we have true false kind of thing. Student ID, grade, total, count. So declare cursor name. Same thing, like a student ID. When it is done to execute and cursor reaches to the end, we are setting cursor reading is done. Then open the cursor, loop, fetch the cursor into a student ID. Same logic we have done. Now sum of the grade, the student, okay, a total count and grades we are reading. If its count is greater than, we are in the students table, we are computing and we are finding the total count, okay, and we are for the each student ID, what is the average. So what is the objective here? So objectives here is given student table, you want to calculate the average grade for each student and update the average grade in the field. Okay. So our objective is to use how to use the loop and cursor. So that is we have understood here. So let me execute this. Then once this is done, so try to execute this. Now I think student, select star from students. Okay, it is null, average grade is null. There is a average grade. Let us call this procedure to perform the task. It is done, then execute. Still it has an issue. It means somewhere in the cursor logic, we are going wrong. So I will look into it in the next tomorrow session. I will try to address this. Okay, something somewhere the loop is having the mismatch. And let me do this, debug this, and tomorrow session I will try to explain. Okay, so apart from this, all of you are able to understand?
Yes.
sir.
Okay, so like tomorrow we'll see that why that is not executing. Okay, some loop issues will be there. That I will try to address. And for tomorrow, we'll start with a new concept called functions. So it is similar to a procedure, but functions can be reused in the in the procedure. Okay. So with this note, we can conclude for today's session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.